going on, everybody? It's the Indoor Hunter, and I finally decided to do it. I bit the bullet, and I have fully transitioned from Reventuli Coast to New England for the Moose Great One, and I hope this ends up paying out, because man, did it take forever to get everything set up, find zones, find all the need zones, and it was just kind of a hassle, just like with any grind. And I'm going to tell you right now, guys, if you're planning on Great One grinding, just be mentally prepared for it, because it is a grind in the truest meaning of the word. I know there's a lot of people out there that are new to the game, new to the community, and they see a lot of people, including myself, post content about Great Ones and Great One grinding. This is my warning to you that don't do it unless you're really prepared, because it can take a lot of the fun out of the game, a lot of the joy, and right now it does seem like that's part of it. Now, obviously, at the end of the day, when you do finally get that Great One, it's a very rewarding experience, but in the meantime, folks, it's not called a grind for, it's fun. I'll say that. So again, I just want to predicate this video with that. Don't think just because you see myself or other people out there grinding for Great Ones that you have to as well to experience the Hunter Call of the Wild. This is a great game, and there's a ton of other stuff to do in it. However, that's what we're here today for, the Great One. Let's see if we can get him during this video. It's very unlikely that's going to happen, of course, but you never know. I'm just going to kind of run through a couple runs, show you guys what I've got going on, and we'll see what happens. So I'm quickly approaching my first little setup here, and there's still the issue of animals not returning or being at their need zones when they are specified to be. A lot of times, and this is actually why I switched from Reventuli Coast to New England, because often I would go to a moose zone and there would still be whitetail there drinking, which makes no sense. And I think the game sometimes might actually get confused whenever you're transferring between tents and tripods and stuff so frequently, and I think that messes things up. They did say in the patch notes with this last patch that they fixed that, but I've not seen any real difference yet. I do think, though, a lot of my setups on New England are set up in a way that I actually have to do a lot more walking than I would in Reventuli, so I'm hoping that will actually help a little bit in getting moose into their need zones when they need to be. But of course, you can see here it's well past moose drink start time, and there is nothing here, which is fine. This is kind of standard. I've become used to it. Just that's something you guys need to look out for. This is the thing. Typically what will fix this is actually another quick time change, but obviously that can end up costing a ton of money at the end of the day. So unless you don't have, or unless you have the funds, probably the best thing to do is just to simply wait it out. As you can see here, we do have moose finally coming in. And again, guys, to reiterate, if you do run into a problem where your moose aren't where they're supposed to be, or whatever animal that you're grinding, just change time. That seems to help, at least on console. I'm not quite sure on PC because, well, I haven't grinded on PC, so I wouldn't know. But as you can see here, this is typically a pretty good moose zone, but I've shot quite a few moose out of it. And sometimes, if you don't have zones discovered, they will flip-flop, and so you may not actually have animals there, and it's kind of a frustrating process to have to figure out, because you either end up spending a ton of money or time, and you end up with little to no reward at the end. So, and I don't remember which video it was, I had talked about using the new 338 as my moose grinding gun, just to kind of make it easier on myself to track just how many moose I've shot, but I've ran into an issue where I've noticed it might actually be broken, and with this level 2 here, we may see what I'm talking about. He's pretty close and within range, but I've noticed anything outside of the effective range of this weapon, things get really rough, really bad for this new gun. And that just might be the example I'm talking about there. While we did get a lung, that should have been, and I'll have to review the footage, but that should have been a heart shot. Not exactly sure what happened there, but this is kind of what I'm talking about. There seems to be some accuracy issues or something going on with this. That was using the Argus scope. We may try it with the Hyperion just to see if there's any sort of difference, just to be scientific, of course. You'll also notice that I shot a level 2 moose without any questions or any qualms about it. I'm not doing herd management simply because it does not work for great ones. And I'll repeat that. It does not work for great ones. And that may ruffle some feathers, especially a lot of the newer members of the community. I see the question asked frequently, about herd management. It is something I do not personally partake in. I have no real opinions for or against it. I don't participate in it. It does do well for getting diamonds, but that's not what we're here for. We're here for the great one, and the best way to get the great one as fast as you can is to shoot as many males as you can. You can't do that when you're managing your herds, and so Exhibit A, why we shot a level 2, because the more males we can get to respawn, the more chances of a great one showing up. And so now we've got the Hyperion scope selected. We can see here by the range estimate 209 to 224. Now, for whatever reason, the 338 does have significant bullet drop, so I'm going to aim just a bit higher than I normally would. That's seemingly a good hit. But this is also an issue with the 338. We can see here that was a pretty good broadside shot just outside of the effective range of the weapon, and in my opinion, that should have been a double lung. I'm not sure that the 300 would have made a double lung on that shot, but I feel like it double lungs more often than the 338, and that could be a bit of an issue. Historically, so far, the spot that I'm in now has been pretty darn good when it comes to males and big males at that, but as we can see now, there's only 2 females here, and it's got me a little bit worried. That tells me that there's most likely a need zone or 2 that I haven't discovered yet somewhere on this map that are now hosting those males, which is rather unfortunate because this is a good spot, and this is an area that I've really gotten a lot of males from, but that, again, this is part of grinding. Sometimes stuff works out, sometimes it doesn't, and you do have to readjust. And going back to the beginning of the video, this is kind of what I caution you for. If you're just getting into Great One grinding, this is something you've got to expect and realize what's happening. Your need zone's not necessarily broken. It's just the fact that your males are actually probably somewhere else on your map. So when this happens, don't give up. And, the game works in mysterious ways, and I'm going to continue to frequent this spot because you never know when those rotations are going to come back to this spot. I don't know exactly how it works. If somebody does, please let me know, because I have no idea. That's just the way I've seen it. And now I've got to go find where these males are. And as we speak, this is exactly what I'm talking about. It literally just showed up. It appeared out of thin air, which is very strange. Not quite sure what to make of that. I guess we'll shoot some moose though. So I guess I'm gonna eat my words with what I'd said there, but the information still stands. If you have that happening to you frequently, to where your males don't actually appear or aren't there, or seemingly missing, that's probably what's going on, guys. Your need zones are missing. But this is going to be a good another test of the 338 and its capabilities at longer ranges. Again, I don't understand it because on paper the 338 should be able to make these types of shots no problem. And on moose, when you aim up a little bit higher, closer to the spine, that's your best shot at making double lung, and that's what we're going to attempt here. But his health isn't dropping at all, and this is what I'm talking about. I don't know what happened here. It's actually going to take him so long to expire that I'm not even going to bother recovering him. We're going to simply let him respawn, unless, of course, he comes out in the open up here, and then we'll take another shot at him. But that's the kind of inconsistency that I'm talking about, because even if I missed where I was aiming at, that should have dropped into lung, and it didn't. So not quite sure what's going on with the 338. I may have to give up on it and switch back to the 300. It's much more reliable, and to be honest with you, I like the feel of it just a little bit better. So this is kind of a prime example of what I was talking about just a second ago. This need zone here historically has been nothing but females this entire time. I've gotten probably close to 100, maybe 200 kills since the transition, and now we have a random level 2 hanging out there. I do think we're going to focus on these guys that are a little bit closer, but this is kind of point proven. You need to go check your need zones, even if you think they're just female, because you never know. again, I'd really like to review the footage there of exactly what happened. That, in theory, should have been a pretty decent heart shot, but nothing happened. It is possible that the bullet drop is so significant on the 338 that we simply just missed the animal. I have no idea. I have noticed that's the case with the new muzzleloader. It has such terrible bullet drop that it's almost better just to use a bow. But this guy's just a touch past 300. We're going to see if we can reach out and touch him. Again, this is 3 moose here that we've shot and have had no real luck. It would appear that this guy's died, so we're going to track him down as soon as we're done shooting this guy and see exactly what happened. That shot was just a touch high, but we did drop into lung there. And I'm actually used to using the Argus scope, not the Hyperion, so that was actually a little difficult for me, but it seemed to have worked out just fine. Again, I'm noticing a lot more inconsistency with the 338 when you have the Argus equipped versus the Hyperion. And luckily enough, the other moose that we shot just so happened to be along the way. Don't have to come back to pick him up. And at 300 meters, at 330 meters, we made a pretty decent long shot. But again, it's these inconsistencies with the weapon that it's making it really hard for me to hold on to. I may need to make another video in the future, kind of testing this more in depth than what I'm doing now. But I've shot a lot of moose with this gun, and every time it's kind of a toss-up of whether or not you're actually going to successfully harvest it. I'm really curious if you guys are having the same kind of experiences with it, for those of you that have the new weapon pack. I don't know. Okay, moment of truth. It actually took him long enough to die. It looks like he was actually headed back to his need zone. And that was just a flesh shot. We actually almost... Maybe it was an accuracy issue. Again, we are going to review the footage here. But... I don't know, that could have been an accuracy skill issue on my point, or my end. Second shot, oh, we hit it. And that's actually what brought it down there. But again, it feels so inconsistent. I feel like I could have made that shot no problem with the 300. Now, for this guy, we're going to go ahead and re-equip the Argus because I'm a little more comfortable taking longer range shots with it. Now, I know the 300 would have been capable of taking double lung with that shot. Hey guys, it's the editor, aka the Indoor Hunter, and upon further review, this was in fact a vertebrae shot, which is not very effective on moose. That being said, the next clip that you're going to see is what really showcases the inconsistencies of the 338. I still have no idea what happened to this shot. This even had chat's mind blown. Take note of the fact here that he's at 0.25, meaning he has no health left, and I shot him with yet another 338 polymer tip, and somehow he didn't die. And I think that's going to do it for this one, folks. What started out as a simple, this is how I've set up my new grind, quickly turned into the 338's broken. At least that's my deduction from all of this. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think, if you've had a similar experience. Otherwise, I appreciate everybody stopping by. I hope you have a wonderful evening, morning, whenever you guys are watching this, and I'll see you on the next one.